Before the agricultural revolution and the invention of agricultural machines, farmers and workers alike slaved away in the fields, no matter the season, hours upon hours each day. When the revolutions came, a machine could do the job of 50 men, and was a step towards modernization of the field of agriculture.
Hello all, Andrew Smith here, and tonight I'll be interviewing 3 people who had a big role in the agricultural revolution. First up, George Jackson. George, how did the agricultural revolution affect you personally?
Personally, the agricultural revolution brought in more money and more food to me and my family, making it easier to eat full meals year-round, which was not possible previously.
Second question, George. How did the agricultural revolution affect your business or wealth growing opportunity as a whole?
Well, the church benefited from this because more people began to come in and pray. Unfortunately, they were praying for more jobs with higher wages because one machine could take the job of 50 men, so people were getting laid off here, left and right.
Final question, George. Do you think the agricultural revolution was a positive or negative effect on the United States?
Overall, I believe that the Industrial Revolution affected the United States positively because it brought in more jobs and more food.
And now for our next interviewee, Joseph Butler.
Thank you, Mr. Smith.
So, Mr. Butler, first question. How did the agricultural revolution affect your crops?
Well, Mr. Smith, as you see, we were growing low-yielding crops such as rye, but now, since there's higher demands for all of our crops, we are growing high-yielding crops such as wheat and barley, thus giving us more profits for the business owners and supplying the demands for the masses.
So, all in all, how was your farm affected by this agricultural revolution?
Well, we have grown exponentially from this, since we are gaining higher profits from the demands. We have been able to grow more crops, add more acres for our land, and grow more crops and add more animals, and we've added more animals.
Thank you for your time, Mr. Butler. Greatly appreciated.
Thank you, Mr. Smith.
Now, for our final interviewee, we have a Russian diplomat, Komazar Alexander Petrenko.
Thank you, Mr. Smith.
So, Mr. Petrenko, how did machines affect countries in the late 19th century?
Well, in 19th century Russia, there was a thing called the winnowing machine, which would separate the wheat grain from the chaff, doing the job of 50 people in one machine, which made for a huge boost in profits for business owners and a huge boost in population growth.
Next question. Could you name some improvements in agriculture in the late 1800s?
Yes. Well, in my own home country, in the Russian Empire, they created a 3-way crop rotation system. Instead of growing flax all year long and exhausting the soil of all its precious nutrients, we would get different plants such as sown grass for the cows and clovers that would refill nutrients to the ground. And therefore, after we sow 2 of those, we can grow another round of flax, which makes the big profits without ever exhausting the soil.
Final question. Do you think that the agricultural revolution has a positive or negative effect?
It has a very positive effect, I believe, throughout all of the world. You see, in my home country, instead of land costing 31 cents an acre, it went to its lowest, 4 cents for 1 acre. This made land available to more people more freely, and with more land available, more farms are built, therefore more food for the people, which brought the population up. The bigger population of a country usually means the bigger workforce, which makes a country grow faster in the economy and throughout the world stage. Therefore, a large food supply is essential for a prospering country, which is why I believe the agricultural revolution was so essential to the Western nations.
Thank you, Mr. Petrenko.
You're welcome.
Thank you, Mr. Smith.
So, Mr. Butler,
Did you press record?
Yes.
You know, back in my home country, populations went through the roof, man. It